Gabriel Stinson here for Barbells and Joysticks, and today I'm also here for Christian Geek Central. I want to give Pater Franson a huge thank you. I actually did. I reached out to him. I emailed him during one of his last streams that he did and just asked him, hey, would you be interested in having me do a review of Days Gone? And he was like, yeah, go for it. And I asked him, hey, what do you want? You want some audio? Do you want a video? And he said, whatever. So I am going to do for my channel, Barbells and Joysticks, it's a games at a glance video, but for Christian Geek Central, it's kind of a trial and error video, like Pater does for Christian Geek Central. I actually got the idea for my games at a glance from the trial and error. I was like, well, I want to have more content for my channel. What's a way I can do it? And I was like, oh, I can do just an initial thoughts review of the video games that I play, just to get them out there, and then still do a final review when I'm done with the campaign. So just wanted to give credit where credit is due. That's where I've got my ideas and things from. So without further ado, let's get into Days Gone. First and foremost, I just want to say that, mention that, is Days Gone. It's a Sony PlayStation 4 exclusive. It's developed by Bend Studio out of Oregon. And Sony actually owns Bend Studio.
Yeah, Boozer.
So,
You think they were up here looking for us? I don't know, Booze man.
is it on the same level
Cutting my eyes out to ask.
as God of War or Horizon Zero Dawn? Some of the other just boom,
Sure, man.
top,
Yeah, I know.
the best games that Sony has on their system. And I would have to say no. No, it's not. But am I having fun with it? Yes. Is it a good game? Yes. It's a very good game. And I just want to go over some of my thoughts about it. Oh dear. Ugh, as you can see, their Sony's kind of tagline or advertising for this game is that this world will come for you. And for the most part, it does. It does greatly. So let's go over some of my notes here. And you're going to have to bear with me. I've got them on my computer here. And I might kind of reach over to get the screensaver turned off a little bit. So, like I already said, my first kind of point was, is it on the same level of God of War? No. Or Horizon Zero Dawn? No. But it's a good game, and I'm having a lot of fun. I am probably somewhere between 5 to 10 hours in. I don't know if the game has let's check it out, a counter of some sort anywhere. No, I'm not seeing one right off the bat, but somewhere between 5 to 10 hours in. And from what I hear online, I have watched some other reviews. I've watched Electric Playground's review, and a few others. I think Easy Allies. I have not watched IGN's review.
Shit, someone needs help.
must have got that guy. But some of the reviews I really agree with, some I don't, and that's okay. But let's continue on in my points here. Other than it not being on the same kind of level of God of War or Horizon Zero Dawn, but still, in my opinion, being a fun, good game, it had some technical issues at launch. It had Days Gone had a 16 or 19 gig day one patch. And while I haven't experienced a lot of the technical issues that are in some of the mentioned in some of the reviews, my biggest one that I noticed was that the sound would just cut out completely. I'd be playing the game, and then all of a sudden, no sound whatsoever. I would have to completely log out of the game, shut the game down, not my PlayStation 4, but the game down, then load it back up, and I would have sound. That since has been taken care of in a patch. Some of the other technical issues that I noticed were some texture pop in here and there, and some other funny little graphical things to where some enemies would get caught like in walls or being stuck in the ground. But I never noticed any frame rate drops or things like that. So it did have some technical issues when it came out. But none of that really detracted from the fun that I was having. Was it annoying to have to turn off the game and then turn it back on? Yes, but I was still having fun while I was playing it. If you're not familiar with the game, it is a zombie. It is a post-apocalyptic game set in the Pacific Northwest. Some sort of outbreak is happening, and people are turning into what Bend Studio calls freakers. They're zombies. They are fast zombies. So, but it's the setting and the story and the world seems fairly typical for post-apocalyptic zombie type stuff. For those of you who do watch my channel, you know that I really enjoy story in video games. And you know that Pater doesn't normally play games for a story. And that's okay. I want a good blend of story and gameplay. And I'm getting it out of Days Gone. So one of the cool aspects here is you notice that my bat is flashing, my melee weapon is flashing. They do break over time. In most games, this would be such an annoying feature for me that I'd be like, nope, it's actually one of the reasons that I really don't want to play The Legend of Zelda: The Breath of the Wild. Breakable weapons. To me, it's an old gameplay mechanic. But in this game, it makes sense. Or it just, I don't know if it makes sense. It works. And as you can see there, I don't have enough materials to repair it. And that is a skill that you can get in the game. Excuse me just for a second. Gotta turn off my screensaver. But back to the story. I'm interested in Deacon, who is played by Sam Witwer. He is Darth Maul now in the Star Wars universe, or at least in the Star Wars Rebels, the cartoon series. But he's doing a great job of voice acting and making me want to care about him and what has happened to him. So, story is interesting and it's intriguing to me. It is slower paced, and I think that is on purpose. because they're doling out information slowly about what he's going into, and that just allows for, at least for me, more world building. You get to interact with some of the side characters more, and you get to learn what's going on in the world. So, story is intriguing for me, and I want to see what's going on. As for the setting, I think Bend Studio did a great job. I mean, they're in Oregon, so they've basically recreated their backyard. And it is a gorgeous setting. It's beautiful. I like riding my bike around in this world. And it's also very bleak. It's beautiful and bleak. Let's see here. And in this world, people are, sadly to me, they are acting the way that I just picture that they would act if a situation like this went down, to where it's very hard to kind of look out for the other person. People kind of get into small groups and they're like, nope, we're not going to let anybody else in. We're not going to help people. But there are small, little camps and stuff that you run across. So the world that they've created is very believable, very real. One of the reviewers kind of mentioned, why doesn't anybody drive cars? I believe it was Colin Moriarty in his Last Stand review of this game. It is kind of interesting because you've got mechanics and things, people that fix the bikes. Well, why can't you fix the cars and drive them around? But it doesn't detract from my experience. One thing that does detract are the load screens. You'll be going to a story mission here, and you'll probably see it for a little bit. There's a load screen from the in between, and it kind of breaks my immersion for a little bit. So I wish that would be fixed. Hopefully it is, and it's sped up, But and we went over the Freakers a little bit. They are a great enemy. Absolutely great enemy. And see, I'm talking about right here, one of the load screens. I don't want that going into my story missions. I want, boom, get me right into it.
Where the hell is the girl? If you've heard her, I swear to God. Who am I kidding? Not. Hang on, Lisa. I'm coming.
Gonna have to try to bleep that one out.
What's this? Lisa's? Sure as hell don't belong to a goddamn ripper. Small
This is a very violent game.
It's gotta be Lisa. She was dragged through here.
Not the language hasn't been too bad for me so far.
Some bitches. I'm gonna kill
But
every last one of you.
It is violent.
Except
It is.
for this.
There is some language. Back to the Freakers. They're a great enemy. Absolutely great enemy. I kind of prefer them to the Resident Evil style zombies that are a little bit slower. They're a great enemy. The sense of tension in the game is very high. So, Pater, I don't think this game is up your alley. I think it'd be way too intense for you. But
find the path.
They're
dead, asshole. They won't be joining.
The Freakers are especially intense and intimidating when they're in multiple numbers that outnumber you. I feel adequately enough to fend them off, to fight them, but one of the big things that they advertised about this game was fighting the Horde, a giant group of these Freakers, 30, 40, 50, sometimes 100 or more. I have only come across one horde in the game thus far. I took it on last night. I beat it. It took me a couple tries. It was about 30 to 40-ish of the freakers, and man, it was intense. And I kind of got lucky. I climbed up a ladder of like a water tower or something like that, and they couldn't climb the ladder. They can climb cars and buildings and other things like that, but for some reason they just couldn't climb the ladder, so I just threw Molotov cocktails at them and beat them that way. So, but it was super intense for me to get to that ladder. I am highly looking forward to later on in the game taking on some of these hordes when I am more leveled up and equipped to do so. Getting leveling up your character is fun. We'll take a look here at the skills. You got 3 different skill trees. Melee combat. Whoops. We got melee combat, ranged, and survival. It is a little, so far it seems a little slow with the leveling up, but I'm not minding that because I'm playing this game at my own pace. I'm not trying to speed through it. I'm just trying to enjoy it, and I am. And I do feel that the skills are helping me out, even though the progression is a little slow. It's not game like ruining, but it is. It's a little bit slow. You can also level up, not necessarily level up, but you can get new weapons by completing. Let's take a look again. Completing different story arcs and things like that. You can get recipes like that spiked bat that I'm swinging around. That was a recipe that I got by completing. I believe I emptied out a camp of bandits and got that recipe to make that bat. So, and then you get the different weapons by doing things for the camps that you meet, the friendly camps that you meet, and that's very good. I might actually take a look at the map here and show you that. It's pretty darn good. It's a good sized map. But the 2 camps, friendly camps that I've come across right now, are this one in it's Hot Springs and whatever, this game's location, and Copeland's camp. And by doing different favors for these camps, you build up the trust level of that camp and unlock different things that camp will give you. So, like, for example, Copeland's camp, it's all about building up your bike and getting new equipment for your bike to make it faster and more durable, and a bigger gas tank and things like that. This camp over here, Hot Springs camp, that's for getting new weapons. So doing favors, doing jobs for these camps, killing the freakers and going hunting and gathering meat and things from the animals and gathering plants. Depending on which camp you give those to, you earn trust in that camp, and the higher the trust, the better stuff that you can get. And that is fun. That is a lot of fun. So, overall, I am very much enjoying this game. And from what I hear online, I've got a ways to go. The storyline, I believe, takes 40, 50, sometimes 60 hours to beat from what I hear. And
mine now.
Actually, let's stick with the bat. And that's what I want. I want to be able to play a game a long time. One of the chief criticisms I've heard about Days Gone is that it's really repetitive. Well, what game isn't? God of War, that gameplay loop, super repetitive, but a ton of fun. A game that I just recently finished, Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Very repetitive gameplay loop. And actually, there was a few times that I was like, oh man, I got to fight all these people again. And with their combat style, I enjoyed it, but repetitive. So far, the gameplay loop for me, Days Gone, of fighting freakers fighting the different enemy human types that you come up against is a lot of fun. As you can see, I'm doing a mix of kind of like melee, ranged weapons, and stealth, mainly stealth. The stealth works very good, in my opinion. So, and I mean, it's not a fantastic stealth system or a new. It's a very good stealth system. There's nothing new about it. But it's a ton of fun. So, as in themes, Pater likes to talk about, are there themes in a game worth some talking? I am not good at seeing that stuff in video games. So thus far, I don't know. There might be a discussion about how it seems like in fiction, when things go bad, people break off into their own little groups and they don't let anybody else in. You know, they're really, really guarded. There could also be maybe some talk about helping others out, because one of the characters in the game, Deacon's best friend, Boozer, you could tell they have a very good relationship and they want to take care of each other, you know. So there might be a couple themes that way. Whoops. Oh.
Free rule the world, huh?
So, there are my thoughts on Days Gone. I'm really enjoying it so far. Thank you, Pater Franson, for giving me this opportunity to just help you out. I hope that, Pater, I hope you enjoy the video. I hope that people on my channel enjoy the video. If you do, please hit that like button for both Christian Geek Central and Barbells and Joysticks. And give Days Gone a chance. And hopefully I don't mess this up. But thank you for watching the video on Christian Geek Central and Barbells and Joysticks. And for all of you Christian Geek Central fans, thank you. Continue to support Pater and what he's doing. And Pater, again, I thank you for this opportunity, and God bless.